everyone, and welcome to Book Critique Set Number 4. The feature text for this book critique is Tops and Bottoms by Janet Stevens. It is a traditional literature fable, it is a picture book, and it was inspired by European and African American folk tales of the South. It is a trickster tale. After the hare lost all of his money from a previous business deal, he made a deal with the bear that if he could use the bear's land, the bear and the hare could split all of the crops. However, the hare was playing tricks on the bear. The hare's actions made the bear very angry, which led him to grow and harvest his crops on his own. The first lesson that I have planned is a first grade social studies lesson aligned with the Ohio Learning Standards. After reading Tops and Bottoms, the students will understand the importance of obtaining goods and working hard for the day-to-day life. To demonstrate trade, students will use their creativity skills in order to develop a product that others would be interested in having. Students will collaborate with their peers in order to display each one of their products on Weebly. The students will think critically in order to determine the price or the trade value that will be placed on each one of their items. This is an example of what the Weebly website should look like using the online store feature. Here you can see that students are able to communicate with one another to inquire about exchange. Here are two examples of products from students. This student has decided to sell cupcakes. The listing price and value is $2, but the student is willing to trade to obtain things that they want. The prices are listed as reference so that the students are able to see the value of the product that is up for exchange. After all of the students have posted their items on Weebly, the students will communicate with one another to make that decision whether or not to accept or negotiate the offer for the exchange. To reach a wider audience, the students will host a market during the school day for all grade levels. Next is a third grade math lesson aligned with the Common Core standards. By reading Tops and Bottoms, the students were exposed to the hare's garden. Hare had the crops evenly spaced within the perimeter of Bear's field. The students will collaborate with one another to create their own garden. First, they will think about what they want to grow, and then they will communicate with their partner in order to determine the size of the field in which they will be planting their crops. Then, the students will use their creativity skills in order to determine which polygon will be the shape for their garden. By using their critical thinking skills, students will determine the measurements for each side of the polygon. At the conclusion of the project, the students should have the dimensions of the perimeter and area of the garden, which will be displayed using the math tool pattern shapes. Then, to reach a wider audience, students will share their measurements and ideas with local park officials. Here's an example of the math tool pattern shapes. Here you can see that you can pick any polygon and add the dimensions on the side. It gives you grid paper and you can change the colors, add the numbers, and adjust the size of the polygon. Therefore, the students will be able to accurately calculate the area and perimeter. Next is Hay Water. It is an informational concept book that simply demonstrates different forms and uses of water in an exciting way through the illustrations. I think that this is a great, easy to read book for students as they are able to recognize the things in the illustrations through experience. The next book is Move Over Rover. This is a great modern fantasy, easy to read book for children as it is a rainy day and all of the animals want to bunk with Rover. They quickly realize that there isn't enough room for all of them, so a common saying throughout the book is Move Over Rover, which is catchy and engaging for students. The next book is April's Kittens. This is a touching, realistic story that I bet all animal lovers could relate to. Next is When I Was Young in the Mountains. I think that this is a great way to open students up to a different time period as well as the way of life in a different area other than our own. The next book is Strega Nona. This is a folktale by Tommy DePaula and it presents many different themes to students. I have found that one of the most important themes is to follow the rules and understand that there are consequences for our actions. The next book is Grandpa. It is a very touching book about a grandpa and his granddaughter. This book is emotional for me as I have lost my grandpa and my grandma. It is important that we are mindful with our students as we read this book. There could be students in our class who are mourning the loss of a family member. Therefore, it is important that we are familiar with and we understand what our students are going through in their home lives. Last but not least is Creature Features. This book is an informational picture book. Within this book, 25 animals, explain why they look the way that they do. This is a fun way for students to gain information as the animals are telling the story. The illustrator used collages. This particular illustrator, Steve Jenkins, is known for his cut paper illustrations. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed meeting 8 of my new friends that I am so excited to use in my future classroom.